Attention. The movie guys love movies, and all the guests who have joined us on the Movie Showcast in our studio, the Admirals Club. They've been great with stories, jokes, farts, impersonations, and more. So enjoy these highlights.
It's the Movie Guys Best of Guests 2015.
The official audiobook narrator of 50 Shades of Grey. Please welcome into the Admirals Club, Bakkedahl, everybody. What you're saying, Karen, is that she brought the sexy to the text.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
She's bringing sexy back.
Could you do that with anything?
I would hardly claim to be able to do that.
I think you can. Let's give it a test here.
I think so.
Let's give it a test here. We got a little Dr. Seuss's Hop on Pop.
Oh boy!
All right.
Boy! That brings a whole new meaning to that book.
See, she's already all over it.
A little
Have at it,
sexiness to
Becca.
it.
Let's hear how it goes.
All right.
Wait a second.
Red, red, they call me Red. Red bed, I am in bed.
Telling ya.
Red, Ned, Ted, and Ed in bed. Hop, pop, we like to hop. We like to hop on top of pop.
I'm telling
fantastic.
you, I knew I was onto something. When she says it, it's totally hotter. And now that she's literally here, it's really super hot.
But
right?
I feel
Yeah.
that wasn't.
Yeah,
But I feel that wasn't a challenge.
Uh-oh. What?
it was
What
pretty
can you
sexy.
do with an entry from the 1984 World Book Encyclopedia on Senator Alan Cranston?
I'm really excited.
Hang on.
An entry from the 1984 World Book Encyclopedia on Senator Alan Cranston. A three-term member of the United States Senate from California, Cranston campaigned vigorously in 1983 for the 1984 Democratic presidential nomination. Cranston emerged as a serious contender by winning Democratic straw polls in California, Wisconsin, and Alabama.
Oh my God.
That was great. That was really good.
So it is your performance.
Yes.
It is your performance
All right.
over any text.
Have her read the end user agreement from Apple iTunes.
I do have that.
Are you kidding?
We are joined for the second half of our show by an actor who has appeared in Hellboy and Hellboy 2: The Golden Army, as well as
Right.
Pan's Labyrinth, Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, The Watch, The Time Machine. I didn't have enough breath. Doom, Mystery Men adaptation. We could go on. He's very prolific, having just wrapped up the TV series Falling Skies,
Oh.
and is no stranger to Guillermo del Toro films, as you may have noticed. So it's only right that he'll be returning in the director's next film, opening in October, Crimson Peak. Doug Jones, everybody.
Thank you. Oh, you guys.
Oh, no.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
you. You
Oh.
precious puppies.
You haven't seen
Fine. No, I don't.
Child.
I know, I'm weird.
Six Oscar nominations, Pan's Labyrinth.
Here's
got.
my
Three.
thing.
By the way, did you
And it won
go?
three.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
went to the Oscars that year.
Good.
I talked to Joan Rivers on the red carpet.
Yay!
Okay, no, this is a career.
When she was
That's-
alive?
Yes.
When she was.
That's badass.
2007.
That counts.
Yeah, so it counts.
That's
So much
cool.
better when she's alive.
Well, she
go.
died in 2005. I
My
don't know if
guess is
Exactly, that's my point.
my guess is she was super cool to you.
She was super cool. Okay,
That's my
but-
guess.
Okay, but
She knows.
but you know, but I pulled a
Uh-oh, what'd you do?
Okay, so we're in the middle of the interview, and first of all, they were at a commercial break when I met her. Publicist John ushered me over to her and he wanted to okay, good. And she had a stack of Pan's Labyrinth cards. So she was ready. Her producer was feeding her all the information for whatever movie was coming down the carpet, right? So there was a Doug Jones card. There was information.
Oh.
So we're at a commercial break, and she goes, "How do you say this?" And I look at the card and I say, "Oh, that's Labyrinth." No. And she goes, "Labyrinth. Did you know that before the movie?" And I said, "No." I said, "Yeah. A lot of us did. Yeah." So she was precious, a very smart woman. She's a very smart,
hilarious.
You know, very,
Hey,
right.
I make mistakes
Oh.
all the time.
No, but we do. We all do. Okay, so we're
Cute.
back from commercial break. We're live, and she's interviewing me, and she's asking like all the regular questions about the movie that I had all my answers for, and then I could then she says, "Well, now you've won a lot of crazy makeups, so." Have you ever had any problems with your skin and any? So I said, "Oh, thank heaven, no! I've never had any issues with allergies or bad reactions to adhesives or removers or latex foam rubber products or silicone products." When I said the words "silicone products," I'm looking at this face, which is a wonder of modern science, right? and so I said, "Well, you know what I mean." On live television.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And I couldn't. It was like, get the words back. I couldn't do it fast enough.
She doesn't care.
Oh no, but that's
She's
it.
awesome.
Okay, no, she was great. She said, "Oh, it's too late for me, honey." Thank heaven! I waited all my. Oh, you know what I'm talking about. You know.
We're happy to be joined by Mike Burns, everybody. Mike Burns.
Thanks, guys.
There's only one film worth talking about this week. One film that dares to go up against Avengers: Age of Ultron, and it's certainly counter-programming. Hot Pursuit.
I started laughing during the Paul Blart drop, and it made me think of this movie. There are some pretty funny. I like the reoccurring bit where she keeps getting shorter and
And she
Sophia
gets getting older.
keeps getting
I
older.
love that bit.
It's hilarious.
That's great.
There's
So first they say she's 45, she
Yep.
gets pissed, and they say she's 50, and she's all tied up and
Because
pissed.
you just know at the end of the movie she's going to be 3 feet,
She's gonna be
4
3
inches tall
foot,
and
yeah.
some 70-year-old woman.
But you know, that's the bit. That's what they sold that movie on. Was that bit, and that's the best bit. And you
They hooked me.
come on. There's
Got
gonna
it right
be
in the
more.
trailer.
There's
That's
no
true. We
more.
saw it twice.
There's more cookies in the
Yeah.
closet. If I come into the closet, no, there's no more cookies. They gave them to you all. And like, we might make more. It's like, no.
This is a whole menopause thing, right? The Hot Pursuit to women.
Oh, there you go.
Didn't even get that.
Right? Hot Flash.
Flash
Hot Flash Pursuit.
Quick, let's go back and rewrite jokes.
What? What were we thinking?
Hot Flash Pursuit. That's hilarious.
Quick, stop tape. Let's go bowling.
I should have called it Hillbilly Cop and the Unga Bunga Boobs. I'd go see that.
I think everybody would.
The director of countless music videos and commercials, the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the 2009 Friday the 13th, as well as Conan the Barbarian 3D. Wow. With Jason Momoa. Marcus Nispel, everybody.
Hey, Marcus.
I was telling Marcus about this. Finally saw the Thomas Crown Affair with Steve McQueen, the original one, with Steve McQueen, Faye Dunaway. What I didn't know, and I was telling Marcus, is that I had no idea that Norman Jewison, who did Fiddler on the Roof, Jesus Christ Superstar, had done this movie.
And Moonstruck.
And then as I'm watching it, I'm going, oh my God, this was produced and edited by Hal Ashby.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that
He
was,
was his editor.
Oh,
He was
wow.
his
yes,
editor.
yes.
I didn't know any of
So
that.
I didn't know any of
Yeah,
this.
the
and I'm
Russians
like,
are coming. You did all that
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, on the PCH, they have this like old courthouse building. When you drive past the PCH, it's like it looks like the Little Alamo, all white. It was a
Okay.
Mexican restaurant not too long ago.
Yeah.
That was Hal Ashby's editing room.
Really?
As an editor, yeah. You can see it
God.
there. Yeah.
I just
Hollowed
watched
grounds.
the documentary Easy Riders, Raging Bulls, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
Yes.
can't get enough
Love
of
the
it because
book.
I watched the 70s. There's a thing called the History of Cinema that's on Netflix, and it's a Scottish guy who's narrating. Has everybody seen that?
I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
it's really
yeah,
impressive.
Yeah, very strange generation.
Yeah, very strange generation. But then you realize, oh, he wrote the book and he put together the documentary.
Yes.
So
That's
they
what
didn't
it is.
choose him.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
just the writer of the book. But I watched that whole 70s era of filmmakers, and then I watched Easy Riders, Raging Bulls, and that's just such a it gets you so excited about movies. The 70s filmmakers, the 70s film brads, and there's this whole segment, and I just love it because there was actual footage. Because I read Easy Riders, Raging Bulls, but they have footage because in Malibu on any given day would be a house with Steven Spielberg hanging out with Martin Scorsese, hanging out with
Brian De Palma.
Brian De Palma, hanging out
He
with
doesn't
Martin.
know.
Oh,
He doesn't know.
He doesn't know.
He doesn't know. Tell him, please.
I live in the house.
no way! That's awesome!
Julia Phillips is
Awesome! I'm coming to visit you, and we're watching Friday the 13th. That's happening. That's happening. I just watched
Party at
footage of
Marcus's
that.
house.
Can I tell you something?
Anything you want! Anything you want!
John Milius was
Yes!
supposed to write Pathfinder for me. So Mike Madavoy, who was his agent for a long time, introduced us. And I said, John, you should meet us at my place. Because he was hanging out there. It was like Brian De Palma, Scorsese, Spielberg.
Milius must have spun a story when he came over there.
He was
'Cause
sitting
that's what
there.
he does.
He was sitting there. See that hole up there? That was my Luger. New Year's Eve, 1973.
Oh my God!
The ceiling there.
my God.
Bart, to translate, part of Walter from Lebowski is based on this guy we're talking about. He does pull a gun out and just shoot it off at a party, like Walter from Lebowski. Yeah, it's based on Milius.
There are rules. There are rules.
Also, there's a documentary called Milius right now, and I urge everybody. It's a fantastic. And George Lucas telling stories. I've never heard him tell about George Milius punching people out and stuff. And he goes, "Hey, I'm not making any of this up. I watched all this happen. It's really great." Yeah.
My favorite part is when he talks about the peace sign. That all the beatniks were these peace signs back then.
Yeah.
And he hated hippies, right? So he would turn the peace sign sideways, and it said always peace now. And he put it sideways so it looks like a B-52 bomber. And he wrote Apocalypse Now.
On the pin. That's where the name comes from.
That's brilliant.
Awesome.
The guy's a treasure trove of great stories.
Glenn Morshower, everybody.
Glenn Morshower.
Thank you.
Here's the deal. I would be remiss if I didn't coach all of you to count to 10 with me in Texans. So could you do that with me?
I want to.
All right.
I might have to do it in Ohioan, but
just repeat after me, okay? Get a loose jaw going. Here we go. You ready? Just repeat after me. Just say 1, 2. No, you got to stick your neck out and look a whole lot more stupid than that. Goes like this. Watch. It's 2. That's good. 3. Next one rhymes with lawn mower. It's pronounced forward. 2 syllables. Forward. Back of the throat. 5. Whistle on your S. 6. Next one spelled S-E-B-M. There is no V, and it's pronounced 7. Back of the throat. 8. 9. And the next one's also 2 syllables. It's not 10, but rather 10. Which rhymes with Glenn. So that's
I've been saying it wrong the whole show.
Have you ever asked anyone for directions in Texas? Because I'm going to tell you what we do. We tell you where not to go, which is just weird. You pull over and you go, "Yeah, I'm trying to get to a Starbucks," and the guy goes, "Okay, here's the deal. Here's the deal. You want to keep going down Maple Street."
He's making the most amazing face.
You're gonna go about
Vimeo for this one.
You're gonna go about 2 miles till you see that big oak tree on your left. Don't turn there. That's what they do.
Melissa Villaseñor. Hey.
Thanks for having me.
This is interesting, Melissa. You're in a time when women are ruling Hollywood, right? With Melissa McCarthy. They got this
She's
whole...
my favorite.
She's the hottest, right?
Yeah.
The biggest comedic talent out there. I mean, it's not a guy anymore. It's her.
Yeah. She's.
They're making a Ghostbusters reboot that's all female. And just today, they released a trailer. Were you aware of this? For The Avengers, which they're going to reboot as an all-female
Oh, wow.
film.
Wow, I wonder who they're going to cast in that reboot of The Avengers.
Well, let's take a listen to the trailer, and then I think we'll have a better idea.
Keep selling it, Paul.
Remember how when you were listening to... Here we go.
You followed the Earth's mightiest heroes as they teamed up in The Avengers. You followed the planet's greatest protectors in Batman vs. Superman. But when they're too busy to fight for humanity...
I asked for Topaz Blue, and this is clearly cerulean. Sure, I'll hold.
The planet calls on an all-new team of heroes.
Loki, those pants are so tight.
The all-new, all-different, all-female Avengers, featuring Sarah Silverman as Tanya Stark, the genius inventor, also known as Iron Woman, Drew Barrymore as the ageless time traveler, Captain America's darling.
Stark, please stop complaining and focus on our mission. My mission is to inspire the youth of America by showing them just how strong an example I am when I'm not showing my
And Kathy Griffin as Thor,
Okay, here's the deal. I am God, okay?
the god of thunder.
Oh, and a god of so much more. Let me tell you, how long do you have? And how long is what you have? Ha! I'm incorrigible.
Hey, look, I may be a genius, billionaire, pot-smoking, foul-mouthed, hilarious playgirl, philanthropist.
With Barbara Walters as Jarvis.
Ma'am, excuse me. May I ask you a question? Are you aware that all of this self-effacing humor is depleting your batteries?
Oh boy, this sucks. I better call in backup.
Featuring Miley Cyrus as Agent Coulson.
Okay, we seem to have a mess here. I'm perfectly capable of taking care of this. Okay, I'm freaking out. Nobody told me guns would be so loud. Dr. Banner, you're going to have to handle this.
And Wanda Sykes as the Hulk.
Don't make me sassy. You wouldn't like me when I'm sassy. Wanda smash.
And also joining them is their single teammate of the opposite sex, Black Widow, played by Owen Wilson.
Oh, wow. There's robot assassins all over 47th Street. I better put more money in the meter. Yeah.
With a hit song by Christina Aguilera. You know.
Avengers! They're the team with the charming touch. They're not so
All right, enough of that. You can't stop Christina Aguilera. Oh, shit. It's Mark Povinelli, everybody.
Povinelli.
Tell us about your time on the set of Double Dragon, the action movie shot in Cleveland.
Cleveland is a hotbed for talent.
Cleveland doubles as Los Angeles. That's a good setup for a movie right there. when you're deciding Cleveland should be LA.
I've been to Cleveland. It's no Los Angeles.
Actually, what it is it's supposed to be post-apocalyptic LA.
I see
so they
it
go
now.
Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Perfect.
I see it. Okay. Yeah. Continue.
Okay, so I'm out of school. I have no idea what I'm going to do with my life. And our mutual friend, Matt Lenhart, who was one of the bigger go-getters I knew, he calls me up one day and says, hey, they're filming this movie in Cleveland. You want to go down and be PAs on it? And I go, why don't you go down and get a job and then I'll come down later after you do all the work. So he goes down and he gets a job as a PA, office PA. And a couple days later, he calls me up and says, yeah, they're looking for somebody else. I'm like, all right, then I'll come down. So I do the least amount of work possible. And literally the second day I think I'm on the job, my first day was to deliver flowers to Alyssa Milano's hotel room because her flight got delayed and she must have been very upset about that and they were apologizing. So I had this huge, bigger than me bouquet of flowers to give to her. The next day, we're setting up tables for lunch, the crew breaks. And so Matt and my job was to set up these fold-up tables for lunch. Guy comes running over and says, hey, to me, he goes, hey, you want to be in the movie? And I turn, I'm like, actually, I'm an actor. And he's like, yeah, come here.
I have my headshot and resume right here.
Yeah, whatever.
And so meanwhile, know that Matt has been working like 15-hour days for like a week straight. And I would like leave early. And so suddenly I'm in the movie. And what they did, so it's post-apocalyptic LA. Earthquakes happen all the time. They're having some battle. Scott Wolf and the other guy, Mark, I can't remember his name, are having some kung fu battle. And my job is to stand behind the rink and pump a hydraulic system every time there's an earthquake to stabilize the building. And I think when they built the hydraulic thing, they were unimpressed with its size. So they thought, forced perspective, we get a smaller guy in there to pump this. It's going to look really cool. So I'm standing there, and they're shooting the whole scene right. It's like they're right. And I know nothing at this point about film and how it's made, and I don't know anything about anything. So I'm sitting there like, this is pretty cool. I'm right in the camera. I'm in this movie. And then I knew they were going to have a close-up of me. And it's getting late in the day, and nobody's mentioned anything about pay in this. So the first AD starts to walk over to me, and I'm thinking really quick, and I'm like, wait, I know I'm supposed to get paid for this. Not I'm in enough of the movie. I've got a close up. I'm gonna say that I can't come back tomorrow because I have another job, which of course I didn't. So he walks up to me and he's like, hey, hey, buddy, we're not gonna get to you today. Can you come back tomorrow? I'm like, I'd love to, but I'm working my other job. He's like, well, what's that? I had no other job. Hadn't thought that far yet. So the day before, I had been at the new Tower City in downtown Cleveland, the new mall, and Gap Kids was opening up. And I was so excited because I can't buy clothes that don't have like patches and fluffy animals on them. So Gap Kids, they're like halfway normal looking clothes. And I'm so excited. So it's the first thing that pops in my mind. I'm like, I work at the Gap Kids down in Tower City. He goes, we're filming there next week. That's fantastic. I have 2 little daughters back home. Can I come into the store and get a discount and get some good clothes?
Man.
You bet, buddy. And guess what? I'll be here tomorrow. Good night. And I walked out like, I need to come back tomorrow. I'm not going to get paid, and I got to go to get a job at Gap Kids. So,
but last part shouldn't be too hard, right?
Yeah, exactly. I do go down 2 days later and mock up a resume and go, I really want to work at your store. I love it. This is amazing. And they're like, well, we're just opening. Okay. And I'm like, can I start right away? Can I work next weekend? They're like, all right, sure. Why don't you? And I'm like, I'd like to work on Saturday.
That is hilarious.
Okay. So the guy comes in and I'm working at Gap Kids. I had that job for 6 years.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Marvin Berry, the lead singer of the Starlighters, the band featured in the now classic Enchantment Under the Sea dance in the legendary film Harry Waters Jr.
Whoa, live in Burbank.
And also with
Beautiful
us.
downtown Burbank.
That's right. None other than Goldie Wilson, the good mayor of Hill Valley himself.
Mayor.
That's a good idea.
Donald Fullilove.
Yeah. Tonight, we actually were doing the Enchantment Under the Sea dance in the gym where we actually shot
That's what I
the
thought.
dance
Oh, okay.
in 1985.
When you were just a child.
55.
We were going back in time to 55,
Right.
but we shot it in 1985.
Don't ruin the illusion.
Come on, Don.
No,
I was there.
You know what?
Wait a minute. You
Let
wait,
me
wait.
tell
you
you.
were,
Let me
He
tell you.
wasn't there.
Wait.
You were
Let
not
me,
in my gym.
let me tell you
Notice I
why
said
he's
in my
wrong, and
gym.
he's going to understand very shortly.
Yes.
1984. That was shot
No.
with Eric Stoltz.
Oh my gosh, they're fighting.
No, you don't understand.
You didn't work with Eric Stoltz?
I never did. My scene, this
Really?
is something, you don't even know this.
Yes, tell
The
us.
scene in the Enchantment Under the Sea dance was the first new thing they shot.
After Eric.
After
He
everybody-
started in 1985 AE. After Eric.
So, all right, so that
So
explains
everybody
a
was
lot.
happy.
Yeah, explains a lot because when you see Michael J. Fox do that scene, he is on fire, like he's trying to prove a point.
He's like, this is new, and I get to own it. I'm not having to recreate anybody else's stuff. It's all brand new. The crew was excited. Every extra was excited. You weren't there. You should have been there. You should have
So
come.
let's
visit.
interrupt with that because just to set the table in case anybody doesn't realize that Eric Stoltz was originally cast as Marty McFly.
I think everybody knows that.
Okay,
by
they shot
now.
a
and
bunch
nobody
of-
really cares.
But here's my question. My question was, you're saying that everyone was happy that he was gone? Was it because
No.
he was just bad at it?
No,
or-
they were happy because it was new material.
Yeah, they had been
They had to
reshooting it.
reshoot everything
So
up until that moment.
Yes.
So this was like something new. We don't have to
Oh, I
like
see what you're
recreate
getting.
it.
I got
You understand
Okay.
what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
He's your friend. Yeah, I'm Harry. I'm just
Harry,
saying.
my job on the show is to
I'm
make
sorry.
sure.
But it's been
simple
20
people
years.
understand.
You understand why it's
I
been 20 years
understand now. Thank you.
Okay, so to all the listeners,
Yes,
this is
John.
Goldie Wilson. I
case you
originally worked with Eric Stoltz.
Oh, you did. You did the scene.
And I worked for 4 weeks with him, and it was over. And unfortunately, I don't remember 1 minute of it.
Really? Wow.
Michael Fox came on the scene and just blew it all out the water. He just blew it out of the water.
So you were face to face with the dude, and it just kind of it didn't click. It didn't stay with you.
I don't remember.
That scene is out there because it's the scene
to the
where
congressional committee. I can't recall.
No, but that's cool that when Michael came in, and you definitely noticed a difference, and things kind of picked
because that
up.
scene is out there, right, where he first looks at his dad at the counter at the soda shop, whatever, right, and
Eric
realizes that
Eric Stoltz,
it's his dad.
What does it look like?
I don't know. Universal won't let me see it.
Not going to put that out there. Somewhere it exists, though, on some planet.
That's cool. That's really great, though. So going back, did they reenact the scene outside, or what
No,
happened?
it was a
They just had a
party.
dance, right?
Okay.
And so while I was singing the song.
Did you sing it?
Yes,
Lovely.
of course. I can
Several
sing.
times.
So glad.
Excuse me.
Many times?
And well, believe it or not.
And very well.
No, tonight I actually had, because there we go. Nah, you have to get a roll by twice.
I was going to say, can
and
I
then
sing
goes to the
harmony with
second.
you? I know a harmony.
This is for all you lovers
Okay,
out
I'm
there.
going to try. You're going to pose me.
Earth angel, earth angel, will you be mine? My darling dear, love you for a time. I'm just a fool in love with you. All right. In the garage on a Saturday night.
I feel
The
so
girl in
much
the pink.
better now.
Yes.
That was great. Thank you for letting me do that.
Thank you for
You're
doing
fantastic.
it. Yeah. Oh my God. That was awesome, actually.
VOD. Jamie Kennedy. The vocal coach to the stars. It's Chet Loudley, everybody. Chet Loudley. Oh, wait a second. Let's get you the proper applause.
And Chet's even wearing a nice jacket, too.
Thanks, Paul. Pleasure to be here.
All right, now we were listening to a scene from Run All Night, and it sounds like the Harris and Neeson actors in it, they're gargling marbles. We're not off on this one, are we?
Not at all, Paul. It's a choice epidemic these days. A choice-edemic. Or stupid. I think you pointed it out in Will Smith's character from Focus a few weeks ago.
Oh, let me play some of that.
There's no room for heart in this game. It'll get you killed.
And we're just a month away from Vin Diesel growling his way through another Fast and the Furious movie.
Give him a reason to stay. Wasn't hiding. That's the deal. Take it or leave it.
But that's all the rage these days.
Oh, wait, now how did all this start?
Well, a lot of people think it started with Batman.
Where is he?
I don't know where he is. He found us.
He must have friends.
No, it makes sense that Bruce Wayne wouldn't want to sound like himself as Batman so he could maintain his secret identity and lisp as Bruce Wayne as well. And of course, they went that direction. Now, you don't want him to sound like, hi, I'm Batman. Swear to me. You know, you don't want that.
Yeah,
right?
no, but they still wouldn't think that's Bruce Wayne.
No.
But not a good superhero voice.
No,
Good point.
that's my point. That's my point. Paul, that's my point.
Okay.
But Christian Bale went very far with it. You can't out-Bale Bale at this point. So people are trying to find a middle ground between mumblecore and full Bale. I think it began with Burgess Meredith in Rocky.
He's just another fighter.
No, he ain't just another fighter. This guy is a wrecking machine, and he's hungry. You ain't been hungry since you won that belt.
I think people have been trying to do what he's been doing for years. Nothing Mickey ever said was unimportant.
Now, is there any truth to the idea that these two actors in Run All Night, Neeson and Harris, they're just trying to emulate the greats like Brando, who mumbled a lot?
Oh, absolutely. Remember the great scene in Heat with De Niro and Pacino? They sat and mumbled the plot in that famous diner scene. Well, Harris and Neeson were in a restaurant in the trailer for this and probably said, hey, we should do that too. Here, I mashed them up so you can compare.
You did? Oh, you did? Okay.
I'm here asking for my son's life, Sean.
You know, we're sitting here. You and I are like a couple of regular fellas. You do what you do, I do what I gotta do.
I'm the only one ever cared about you. And all of that ended an hour ago when you killed my son.
There's a flip side to that coin.
This movie I want to
What
see.
if you
yeah.
do got me boxed in?
These four guys on screen?
And I gotta put you down.
That is amazing. See, I just don't think I could put in the time required to grumble my way to an Academy Award.
Nonsense. It's all about taking the banal and adding a gravelly voice. Boom! Whatever you're saying suddenly gets urgent and people start paying attention.
Well, it certainly sounds like the broadcasters on NPR who are directed to talk with vocal fry.
It's a lateral move from that to a gravel voice. Here, I brought in some famous movie lines that shouldn't at all have a grumbly delivery. Now, you see if you can make them important. Karen, go ahead and give a start. Give a famous line from movies, the NPR vocal fry.
There's no crying in baseball.
You sound like a grandmother.
I know. I don't know.
All right, now lower your pitch. Now try to lower your pitch.
There's no crying in baseball. No, I sound like a transvestite. There's no crying in baseball.
Great.
Okay, now this has been enlightening to say the most. Now let's get on to all trying a couple of these. Go ahead. Who wants to throw one out?
I'm going to try one that I think we're all very familiar with, and then we would agree that if it were delivered,
give it to gravitas. Help him if you need to.
Oh, I didn't do
Please,
gravitas.
So I have to open the bottom of the throat, Chet.
Oh, yes. Yeah, pretend that perhaps you've been kicked in the throat, and then, but while you had a Coke bottle in your mouth, and you got some glass in your
The
throat.
movie is about Liam Neeson, so just open up and pretend like he's coming in.
Jesus.
You need me to punch you in the gut before you do this? Sometimes that helps.
I'm going to let what Karen said settle in a little bit. Nobody puts a baby in a corner.
Oh, that was good.
Very good. Very good.
Here, let me try one.
Yeah.
Over. Nothing is over until we say it is. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor?
Germans? Just let him go. He's on a roll.
Forget it. He's rolling.
Very good. Very good.
You guys are good at this.
Jamie, you're
All
a
right.
professional actor.
Wait,
You could probably make
so
this happen.
Play Bale again.
Oh, here we go.
Play Bale.
All right, play him first?
Yeah.
All right. Jesus. All right, hang on.
Oh, see, I got you out of your rhythm.
Where is he? I don't know where he is.
Where is he? Hold on.
Good.
So do you
good.
want?
Practice.
I'm gonna do two versions. I'll do Bale as this one.
Okay.
Play it one more time.
Where is he? I don't know where he is. He found us. He must have friends.
Okay. Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? SpongeBob SquarePants.
You've done it. You've done it.
How was that,
Fantastic.
Chat?
That was great.
That was
That's
great.
the Bale
Absolutely
Batman's
great.
Chet,
SpongeBob.
Chet, this has been Enlightening Disabled. JP Manu is with us.
Me.
That's him.
Out with the Manold, in with the Manu.
Happy Manu Year, everyone.
Told you we were professionals.
Okay, well, we're still on your
Anyway.
career. Transformers.
Yeah, so that's Michael Bay remembering me from auditioning for like Aerosmith videos a million years ago.
Shut up. That
And it
happens?
was, I
He
didn't.
remembered
Yeah,
you.
I didn't
Which
audition.
Transformers are you in?
The first one.
Cool.
And he that was like a phone call. It was like, hey, Michael just wants you to go downtown tomorrow afternoon. It's not in the script, but he's gonna put a camera on you and like you're just do whatever he says. I was like, yeah, I'll do that.
I've heard stories.
Yeah.
I've heard stories. Is he a loon or is he?
Yeah, I mean, he's insane. He like fired the first AD like when I got there, and he hired him again after lunch. Like, they were blowing up all of downtown Los Angeles.
When your movies make as much money as that guy's does, I guess you just let him do whatever the hell
Then
he wants.
after lunch, he's like, "Where is he?" They're like, "You fired him." Like, get him back here. I'm like, all right. That kind of stuff.
He went home with his box of belongings.
Such a sketch.
But that was I was lucky enough to do a little improvised bit for that as a man on the street, whining about all the debris and like my moped's under there, man. And then he brought me back for The Island, where I was a retarded clone.
Oh, you'd be great at that.
As a retarded clone, yeah.
Well, there's certain things that are just like, who do we
Those
call?
are his words, too. I would have said developmentally challenged, but
He's a
Michael Bay said, you're a retarded clone. I was like, all right.
He would know.
And sitting in the whole show is actor Eddie Jemison. Hey! Well, and of course, later you ended up doing the Ocean's 11 films with Steven. So, no brainer, big audition. How did it all work to come on board those?
I was living in Chicago. I was doing theater. And
That's how all of your stories start. I was living in Chicago.
I can appreciate that.
I was doing theater.
Yeah, and I got this. I went to audition for a Coen Brothers movie. They needed a sheriff. They were shooting
Was
in
it called
Illinois.
Fargo?
No.
Oh.
That'd been nice.
That would have been something.
No.
Yeah, some weird movie from the Coen Brothers.
2001?
needed.
Might have been,
I really wanted it. I needed that part, and I could tell I didn't do well. And the casting director said, "Wait, you're Eddie Jemison?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "I've been calling your agent." I was like, "Yeah, my agent. She just closed her doors. She probably didn't." She's like, "I have a script for you."
What?
In my car.
Shut up.
Ocean's 11. You're in it. I was like, "No, I know I'm
You mean you're-
auditioning." She goes, "No. You're in it."
Oh, that's so cool.
So there was no audition.
There you go. Good.
That's hysterical.
So I was like, 3 months later, I was moving to this.
When did you find out who else was in that movie?
Like, I think maybe then.
Oh, wow.
She might have told me.
What was that like? They're like, wait a minute. I'm in with Brad Pitt, George Clooney.
I went and was in this
Matt
play,
Damon.
and I was telling people, and I was trying to impress Laura, who's my wife now.
That
and
worked?
she was
Totally worked.
That totally worked.
And I was
buying
like,
it?
I'm gonna be in this movie with Brad Pitt and George Clooney, and everyone was like, yeah, right.
Who makes movies with both those guys in it?
And Julia Roberts. What?
Yeah. And
Oh, let me guess, Matt Damon too, and whatever. Okay, whatever.
that's how it was like. That's what it was like.
It does sound like you're just lying.
It sounds like I was lying.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to be with Matt Damon and George Clooney.
And she's
Brad
like, I
Pitt.
thought he was cute, but he's such a liar. I can't get into this guy.
So, did you have a lot of time with those actors?
Yeah, months
Yeah.
and months and months in Europe and in.
Oh my
it was
God, that's
crazy,
amazing.
and I was so nervous.
Oh, I would be totally
I was
nervous.
like,
Did you have a lot of lines? I'm not familiar with your parts.
You don't
No,
see
I
me
didn't.
grabbing your gun and waving it all.
I didn't have a lot of lines.
That's good. That's
but
what I
was
like.
on set with these guys, and they were all so funny, and they were irreverent. And I'm like, I gotta crack some jokes here.
Yeah, you gotta step
and
up.
I would really be shy, and I'd kind of crack one, and no one would hear it. And then eventually, Matt Damon started picking up and repeating, "Oh, Jared," and then
Stealing
Bernie
your-
Mac would like, Casey. He'd grab me. He thought it was Casey. He'd be like, Casey, tell that joke.
Oh my God!
Tell that joke to everybody.
Casey. Oh,
And I'm like,
Casey.
Who's Casey?
Casey
I'm Eddie.
Affleck.
My name's Eddie. I know you, Eddie. I know you, Eddie.
The fantastically prolific actress who has appeared in 3 Best Pictures, 4 if you count Rango, as well as
I do,
as well as 160 plus other projects, and can currently be seen on the Mindy Project as Beverly, the receptionist at Mindy Kaling's OBGYN clinic Schulman and Associates, Beth Grant. Hey!
You mentioned something that I thought was curious. You said you went into audition.
Yes.
Is that what you had a chip on your shoulder about? Because honestly, if you don't know what Beth Grant can do by now, you're not paying attention.
What am I
Right?
saying?
Like people go, I don't know if I should have Beth Grant in this part.
Well,
Really?
This is the thing is that my agent had mistakenly told me that Greg Daniels was producing the show, and I said, "Well, Greg knows me. I did King of the Hill. I did a couple episodes of The Office. He knows me very well." I said, "If I have to audition, then I don't think I'm right for it because he knows me well enough to know what I can do."
Right.
And then they called back. They said, "Oh no, he's not. We were confused. He's not producing. He has nothing to do with it." And I said, "Oh, okay. So Mindy doesn't know me. So my episodes
but at
of
the same time.
Yeah, but they're not everybody.
No, but I mean, I it feels like somewhere in that process, somebody should have taken somebody aside and said, you know what? Actually, Beth has acted before. Here are 187 things she's done.
That's what she was
Take
saying.
a look at 1 or 2 of them.
Bart, she was saying that she went in there all piss and vinegar with a chip on her shoulder, and that's exactly
Well,
what
that's
Beverly.
true. That's how she got the part.
Maybe it was a plot.
It could have
Maybe
been.
they planned the casting director the whole time. Let's really piss
Piss
her
her
off, and then she'll give us her. But
And
I
here
got,
we are inviting you on like
but
suckers.
I knew the casting director for 30 years too, and she
Oh,
was a
okay.
good friend. And she did something I've never had done at an audition ever. She
Casting couch, right?
Yeah, that was
Senior
it.
sex.
Senior sex. Senior sex. I got a reputation. I got to live up to it. She said, "Let's give Beth a prop. Beth needs a prop." And I was like, "A prop?" It's not something you do at auditions. She brought me a little bowl of almonds. So I thought, okay, I'll give you a prop. And I took that almond, I threw it in the air, caught it in my mouth, and chewed it, and kept on talking. And I think that's where I got the part because I was
wow.
pissed off, and she gave me that prop. So after I was made a regular, I sent her like a basket full of all different kinds of almonds in gratitude because who knew that being pissed off would get me the role. But it's such a great role. I mean, the lines are so, and then that first pilot, my favorite line was they said, "Don't you have any dreams? Don't you want to do something?" "Yes, sometimes I dream that I'm the den mother for a sheik's harem, making sure they don't escape and have a side business, waxing them and stuff." How do you not love that? Who wrote that line? I should ask Mindy exactly who thought of that.
It's stuff.
Probably her.
Nominated for 6 Academy Awards is American Sniper, which stars Bradley Cooper, Sienna Miller, and among a big and very authentic supporting cast, our guest for the rest of the show, Ayman Saman, ladies and gentlemen, joining us.
So we were talking earlier. You're born in Egypt, and you're here in Hollywood, being not just an actor but a successful actor in an Oscar-nominated movie. How do you put that together? How does that happen? I barely got out of Cleveland, let alone Egypt.
I understand. Well, honestly, I still, it's very, very surreal, because I grew up watching Clint Eastwood movies in Cairo when I was a kid, watching his, Good, Bad, and the Ugly and all the spaghetti westerns. And I loved his movies, and I never really thought that, that I'd actually meet the guy in the context of actually working with him. Even when I moved to Hollywood here specifically to be an actor, I didn't think that that's kind of a possibility.
Yeah.
When I got the audition, I was like, yeah, right. I'm just going to go, and, they're going to give it to someone with more credits or whatever. But I got it, and these things happen in Hollywood, man. So don't lose the faith.
That's right. There you go.
Good Egyptian boy living in the American dream.
It happens. Yes,
You're out of Cleveland, so you're not doing so bad.
First step has been taken.
I think really one of my ultimate goals is eventually because I grew up in Cairo in a average neighborhood, you could say poor neighborhood in Cairo, and ultimately I want to get to a point where my career and my success inspires a kid that is like me, like when I was a kid over there playing soccer in the dirt, and then they can see me and say, he was just like me, and if he can do it, I can do it. No dream is too big. That's ultimately what I'd love to represent as a Middle Eastern in Hollywood, is for these kids that are there to see that it's not that hard.
Dan Bakkedahl.
Hey! Thank you. Very funny, very talented.
Let's talk about The Heat for a second, because we're all on the verge of
Please.
Ghostbusters. And Paul Feig has taken over the franchise.
Yep.
I am one who thought Bridesmaids was okay. I thought The Heat was quite good. And I thought Spy was ridiculously good.
Spy was amazing.
So if he's just getting better every movie, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, he's been brilliant for years with Arrested Development and other projects. But as far as a director goes, I'm looking forward to big things from Ghostbusters. So set experiences working with Paul Feig?
Paul was amazing. That film was one of those... that's one of those stories I love talking about, because I didn't get that movie. Rob Corddry got that movie. And I got a call on a Sunday night saying, "Have you ever worn contacts?" And I said, "No, I've never worn contacts." "Can you wear contacts?" I said, "What are we talking about here?"
Who is this?
Yeah.
What do you keep going?
Do you like Italian?
Yeah.
Could you make your eyes
You
a
like
different
movies
color
about
for me?
gladiators? I said, what the hell is going on here? And they said, "Well, what are you doing this week? Would you be able to fly out to Boston?" And I said, "I really actually need to know what we're talking about here at this point, because to answer yes or no to these things is, going to depend." Not like I was going to turn anything down, but it sounded like it could be something weird. And I'll give you the reason why I thought it might have been something weird. But anyway, and so it was, you're going to go for a contact fitting tomorrow on Monday. And once we get the contact fitting set on Tuesday, you'll be flying out Tuesday night to do a makeup, hair, and eye test for camera for Paul Feig on set for The Heat. And I said, "Wait a minute. If they're already what the hell happened?" They went, "Oh, don't worry about it. No. He loved you. They really responded to your audition." I said, "But this was like 4 weeks ago." And they said, "Yeah, well, anyway, it turns out Corddry had it, but he had something else at the same time and couldn't do both, the way back. So he couldn't do both.
That's good to hear.
Yeah,
that it wasn't Hot Tub Time Machine 2. That it was in fact
No.
way
It was the way back. And he couldn't do both. So, he wound up going down the beach there to the way back, and I went out to Boston and did that. And Paul, from the first word out of his mouth was, again, it's Veep. It always goes back to Veep nowadays. It's like, "Oh God, I just love what you do on Veep. If you just do that in this albino makeup, that's what we're looking for." And it's, "Oh, sure, great. So just be abusive to them, hate women. That's what I'm doing." "Oh, got it. Okay, I can do that." So, real quickly, to drag this out, the reason I thought it might have been something weird was because about 6 months before that, I got a call saying, "There's this weird audition. I'm going to send you the sides. You just memorize it. You show up, and they're going to tape you, and then you're going to leave. And then we'll let you know whether or not you get." I'm like, "Well, that's a strange thing. What is this?" And they said,
"Got to be Star Wars, right?"
Yeah, I was like, "What is this?" And there was a non-disclosure. It doesn't matter now because it's been years and years. And I got there, I did the thing, and then I got a call back for it. And I said, "What the hell is this?" And they said, "Well, here's the thing. Banksy is up for the Academy Award for Exit Through the Gift Shop. He's obviously not going to be showing up, so he wants to hire somebody to be his acceptance speech." So I went and did the dry run. I did was at the Critics' Choice Awards, where I went and I sat there in a tux and just sat there like this the whole time. And like in that one, that's a
like
dinner,
the whole night.
Yeah, that's a dinner table setting where they're in dinner tables, and there's Tarantino. And there's, they're all there, and I want to meet them all, but I'm in the character of Banksy's lawyer. So I'm sitting there at the table like this.
That's awesome.
The whole night. Schwarzenegger's up there talking behind me on the stage. I just wanted to say.
Did you eat?
And I didn't eat. I didn't do a thing. I sat there like this the whole time. So that if he won, I was going to go on stage and accept the award. He didn't win. Then the Oscars come up, and I'm once again, we need you to go do the thing. So I go to this huge gathering at this hotel where the entire group that had anything to do with the film is at this little hotel. And I have to rehearse the speech 6 or 7 times onto a camcorder, essentially. And then they take it in another room and they come back and they go, okay, here's the notes. And I'm like, this is weird. Who's giving these notes? Like obviously this person is here, or it's many of you. Maybe Banksy's a collective. I'm just saying, and that's based on nothing other than frustration of when the hell are they going to, introduce me to the guy?
Whose name was on the check that they wrote you?
Yeah, a production company of some sort, Rat Droppings or something. And I went to the Oscars, and when they start, the category of feature length documentary, and my heart went, boom, and my heart was like, and my breathing just suddenly went, holy shit. Whoa. I might actually, at the Critics' Choice, I was like, who gives a shit? But at the Oscars, I was
thanks, assholes.
I was freaking out. And of course, Waiting for Superman won. Oh, yeah. And they're all Brits, so they're all like, "What the bloody hell?" And I was like, "Well, you got to understand, we got a chip on our shoulder about our education system. You're not gonna beat that." But that's the very long story to tell you why. When the heat came up, I was like, "What goofy shit are you getting me into now?"
That's amazing.
That I need to be prepared for because you're freaking me out.
Did they put you on camera when they put the nominees up?
They showed us sitting at the thing, but of course it's the 2 producers that were there. Okay. And their names are on the film as producers, right? But and at some point, in the limo ride on the way over to the awards from the hotel, it was hold on, darling. Yes, hello. Oh, okay, it's Banksy. Okay, right, very well. Okay, good. Will do. Hold on. I'm going to put Banksy on speakerphone. He's not going to speak. You're going to do the speech, and then I'm going to listen to him. He's going to give me some notes for you, and then you're going to do it again. And I'm all right, fine. So she holds up the phone at me, which just says, a number on it,
unknown or something.
Yeah. and it's on speaker, and I do the speech, and then she puts it back up to her ear. Yeah, we'll do. Right, very well, very good. Okay, bye, love, and hangs up and goes, okay, good. Just slow it down in the middle part there, type of thing. And I'm like, well. How could I say no?
You're going to the Oscars.
What's
crazy awesome.
Well, not only that, but like I could have gone to the Oscars with this thing or that thing, but like to go with the unknown bandit of art, it was a pretty amazing experience. And they paid me really well.
Was it a complicated speech?
Here's what it was.
Because I'm so curious since they're all making you do it.
Your forum.
It would have been exit through the gift shop, Banksy. Banksy couldn't be here today, so to accept the award on his behalf is his attorney, whatever name they made up. And I would have gone up there and
Rat Droppings.
And I would have said, I'm sorry, Banksy couldn't be here this evening. He sent me in his stead. I am his attorney. He's asked me to read this prepared statement. Oh my God, I'm so thank you so much. I want to thank my mom and my dad and everybody at art school. Thank you very much.
Well, let's ask you what we ask every guest who comes on our show. What is your favorite movie of all time?
Oh, you told me to have that ready. When Something About Mary came out, they totally screwed me because Harold and Maude has always been my favorite movie, and it's Mary's favorite movie. And I was like, are you kidding me? Now it's like I'm
too hip a choice.
Some Farrelly Brothers, suck up. And no,
you're a hipster.
When I was 1978, I was 8 years old, and they had Photomat, which was like a drive-through where you could get VHS if you had a Betamax or VHS in 78, which not a lot did, but we did somehow. And my mom's best friend picked up a copy of Harold and Maude and brought it to our house and said, here, and gave it to our family as a gift. And we watched it as a family. And now I was 8. Which means my brother was 12, and I got 6 brothers and sisters, and half the family is mortified, and I was riveted. One, I love Cat Stevens, And my oldest sister is a huge Cat Stevens fan, my sister Cammie. And so I was always into Cat Stevens. And so the music caught me immediately, but I got the comedy. At 8, I got that comedy, the dark side of that comedy. And it just kind of stuck with me. And then in the very darkest moments of my life when I really thought, I think I might be done with this living thing, I watched Harold and Maude. I'd go out to the bar, get loaded, come home sad, depressed, put on Harold and Maude and feel a little better for an hour and 50 minutes, you know. And I think Ruth Gordon, it's one of the best performances in all of film is her performance in that film. I think she's way underappreciated. And I met Bud Cort at an audition one time, and I didn't have the guts to say, "But I just want to tell you, man, I think you're great, and it's my favorite film ever." I just went like, "Hi, how's it going? We're auditioning for the same thing, so hi, how are you?" And left it at that. But that's hands down my favorite film.
There were a bunch of films that kind of went over my head. I watched them too young as a kid. Network, Last Picture Show, Chinatown.
Sure.
But Harold and Maude, I saw that same era. It connected. That and A Clockwork Orange. Those connected for some reason. But Harold and Maude really connected. That movie is, and it still does today with whoever's watching it now.
My favorite. No, it comes from a play. That's part of what makes I think the dialogue so rich in that.
Harold and Maude's based on a play?
Yeah, it's based on a play.
Oh.
But my favorite line in the whole thing is when they're sitting in the field of dandelions, essentially, or daisies, or whatever they are. And she says, "What's your favorite flower?" And he goes, "I don't know, one of these probably." And she goes, "Why?" And he goes, "Because they're all the same." And she said, "Oh, but they're not. Look, some are." Make me cry. Some are broken, some are bent, some are bigger, some are smaller, some are missing petals. They're all different. All these little differences that make them wonderful. And I think many of the world's problems come from people who are this, but allow themselves to be treated as this. And she indicates to the big, huge field of flowers. And I just remember that, you know, like I said, I was way broken at this time when I was watching it every night, obviously. I mean, to watch anything every night, like, I'm going to watch it. And that was the moment that I went, yeah, I'm that. I'm not that. I'm that. I'm not that, you know? Wow. And it's, I mean, I don't want to say it saved my life, but it certainly enhanced my life.
Wow.
That's cool.
That may be one of the better...
right?
That was a great...
We now have a new correct answer for what
your favorite movie of all time.
That is such a great.
And I almost cried.
Yeah, that was great.
Also a first.
That is a great. Says something so great about movies for the show that we've done for 6 years now. That's all about movies and how much we love movies and defend them and live and breathe for them. It's like, wow, it's really made a difference in your life, Dan.
Well, I think, and here's
a great movie to do it.
Oddly and silly enough, you know, it connects to that point that Trumbo was making, which is, you know, this is a very powerful medium. And of course, that was what the Alliance for Preservation of American Ideals was standing for, is this is a powerful medium and you're going to recruit people to turn this country communist. And he said, no, it's a powerful medium and we can reach people and we can affect them and we can change their lives and we can get them through. And really, that's what it's for. I mean, we're all fans, we're buffs, so we'll go see my dad used to say, you'd see a dog fight. And it's like, well, if it's on a screen, I'd go see anything, you know? And it really was to get me through. Leaving Las Vegas got me through probably the second hardest part of my life because I went and saw that and I went, well, it could be worse.
I was just going to say,
you know,
because there's no hope in that one.
I'm going to start smoking again, but it could be worse.
My favorite movie is Ghostbusters, and partially because it's a great movie, but I lucked out because that's when my dad had a heart attack and they thought he died. So I was 14 and we lived pretty far away from where the hospital was. And so we got the call that my dad was in the hospital. We got to the hospital and the doctor told us he had passed because they gave him the wrong medicine. And then he came back and they're like, no, we brought him back. And so as like a little kid, you're like, what is happening? And so he was in the hospital for like 2 weeks. So in that first week of him being in the hospital, my mom would take us to the hospital and then you're there all day because it was in the summer. But my brothers just got their license and they could drive. So my mom's like, just take her to the mall. And so they took me to the mall and I'm just all freaked out. And I'm like, I'll see Ghostbusters because I love Bill Murray. So I saw it and I forgot my dad was sick. And when the movie was over, I remembered again. I was like, I want to see that movie again because it took me away from the reality of this horrible thing that happened. Saw it 10 times in the theater that week.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was awesome because my mom would be like, just take her to that movie again. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The power of movies.
Thank God it wasn't a horrible movie.
I was going to say, thank God it wasn't Gremlins.
Oh, God.
At the same time, yeah, it could have been.
Yeah, what else was out in the
No.
theaters? Ice Pirates?
Into the
Yeah.
Night.
I was going to see Ice Pirates 10 times.
Yeah.